Hello again. I've run out of tool steel, well, big pieces, and so I thought I'd make a katana out of wood. I'd not made one before. Actually, I haven't made a wooden sword since probably the end of the 70s when I was quite young. So I'd got some pieces of hazel off a hazel tree that were cut down probably 2 years ago, and they'd been sitting in my garage doing nothing, and I thought, there's a long piece of wood, why not cut it up? So I cut a slice off. This is one of the slices here. I cut a slice off with the bandsaw, and then the bandsaw drive broke, so I used standard saw and cut the piece of wood up into, I think it was 4 slices, and got out my plane. I'm not very good with the plane, and thought I'd use that to plane it down, and then I just cut and shaped it into this katana shape. It turned out quite nice, and if you look at the wood, the hazel wood actually has some quite nice grain in it. The point turned out really nice. It's nice and smooth. I've sanded it down, I've put some sanding sealer on it. I then realised I'd need to cut out a habaki, so I had a piece of old holly tree which was cut down in my garden a few years back, and I've cut out the habaki out of that. I didn't do quite a very good job of doing the inner. I'll just have to fill that with some wood filler. I've glued all that on. I've sanded off the tang, and then I thought, right, Subo, I need something, so I made this. I looked at the design on the internet and I made this, and it fits on like so. And then the more I thought about it, these are all natural English woods, and I thought, well, this has got, yeah, it's got English yew, but it has yellow heart, it has mango wood, and has Castello boxwood, so it wasn't really fitting in, and it was just a bit, although it's really nice looking, I just felt it was a bit small. So then I thought, I had a piece of old cherry tree from my garden, flowering cherry. I thought the Japanese like flowering cherries, so I thought, oh, I turn this, put it on. I know it's a bit fat, I could always sand it down. Doesn't really fit now. There you go. But it just looked too big, and also there's a bit of rot around the edge there. I was going to carve it and stuff, but wasn't very happy with that. Then I thought, why not just go for a piece of ash? I've got some ash round, so I've cut a small piece. This is a design from a photo. My dad has a military, Japanese military samurai katana from the 1940s. So I looked at some of his photos, made this pattern. All I did was draw out one corner here, and then just fold it over, rub on it so the lead comes down here, and then just do the same. So I've got, well, it was actually that corner there I drew first, and then I've cut it out really roughly. I've sanded the edges, and that will fit on like that. So I've got to do some more work on this now. I've got to engrave it, drill some holes, smooth it all off, make it look really nice, but I think it probably fits the size and shape better, so I've got some work on that to do. Then for the handle, I got a piece of ash, piece just like this, ash wood. Got some nice patterns in there, and I just cut a rectangle with a saw. I sliced it down, as you can see, and then on one side I chiseled it out with my chisel, which is over here. So it was a bit of practice with that. I've actually sharpened it reasonably correctly this time, and then I just glued it back together and made sure it fitted on the tang. On the end, for the kashiri, I thought, let's go for another English wood. This is a piece of English yew, but as I was putting on, I thought it might look a bit boring, so had a piece of brass plate which had been bought off eBay. What's that, about a millimetre thick? And I just snipped out a piece with the snips and then just drilled a hole in it. On the end of this I made it into like a peg shape, slipped the brass over, and then on the piece of view I just drilled a hole in, pushed it on, glued it up, and then sanded it down. So it just adds a little feature. With the main part of the handle here, I wanted it to look like, well, from a distance, to look like it was actually all bound like a proper katana. So I had my Ryobi Dremel thingy, and I put a drill bit in it, and then I just went and used the drill bit to actually cut little lines, because all my cutters wouldn't cut fine lines, so I just used the drill bit. Then to make the bits where you can see the raised skin, I just carved it out with this little HSS bit for the Dremel, and just carved them out. And then I found that if I just leaned on it, it put these little circles to make it look like raised skin. I think it's a bit light, so I've got some more leather dye here. I diluted it down with a bit of water, and then if I just put it in here, it just darkens it up a bit, just so it doesn't look like the bright wood, because it's just a bit, it just stands out a bit. So I'll just do that now. I then will have lots of carving on the kashiri on the end. The original that I've taken photos of, it has flowers on the end. Just finish off these. So that just takes the brightness off the raw wood there and just makes it look a bit more natural. So I'll have some carvings to do around here. The little flowers, I've drawn them on roughly in pencil. Not sure how I'll do that. And then on the sides here, I need to, where those lines are, I need to kind of flatten it down and put some patterns on flowers and things and carve on the end. So I've got some more work to do. So I'll start to do that and document that so you can see how it comes out in the end. So I hope it'll come out nice. I do like the shape of it. I'll put a little peg in here. I'll make a little like a round peg like the bamboo pegs they have, so that you can take it all apart. And then maybe I'll try and figure out how to make a scabbard for it. Here's my Suba, and I've drawn on where I want the edge to be. And I've taken my Dremel thing with various bits, and I've carved in here. I tried various bits. I've used this bit here, I've used these two bits around another one. I've then even used a little sander bit to try and sand it. I came down to getting a file and putting some sandpaper on like that to sand it. It's a lot more difficult than you expect. Hope I haven't gone down too deep based on the other side and the actual thickness, but we'll see about that. It's getting there. First attempt, it's not too bad. I'll just keep working on it. I'll work on the other side now and see where we get to. I've finished now carving both sides of the Suba. Not too bad. Need a bit of sanding just to tidy it up. I've left a little bit of a ridge there in the middle. So I've come to put it on to the tang, and then I put the handle on. I didn't say before, this is just brown shoe leather dye. And there's it all on. I think that's probably suits the blade more and is more in keeping. I did notice one small thing in here, if you can see, because I left a little bit of a raised bit in the middle, it now leaves a gap behind the habaki, so I may need to just sand that off. Sand this bit off here, I'll think about it. But it's looking a lot better. I think from the original design there were some holes, so I'll have to look at that holes. Maybe I'll pyrograph something on as well, burn it in a pattern. So that's where we are up to now. What I've done now is, if I just take this apart, I drew on a pattern, like the pattern on my dad's sword. It was like flowers. One side the flowers are slightly bigger than the other, that doesn't matter. And I've burnt them on, and I've burnt on a little line around the edge just to make it a bit more exciting. Basically I've used this pyrography burner here. Now going to start some work on here, thin that down, draw my pictures on, and then I'll start to pyrograph them. So I've finished my katana. I've polished it with furniture polish. See the tsuba there. Then the handle, it's all been finished with furniture polish. I put a brass plug in. I just turn it around. I've just left the sides plain for the moment because I'm not sure. I might come back to them. Put a flower in here, put a flower on the end, another one on there. I've left my little flaw here because I'm not sure what to do. So I can just pop the brass plug out. Pops out from this side actually. I can do that. Here it is here. And then I can pull the handle off. I've put a little brass plate and I've just engraved a little flower on the date. Just used an old engraving tool here, I think it's from the 80s. And then we can just take the tsuba off. It will come off. And I've put furniture polish on that. Made it all nice and shiny. Let's put that back on. And let's put the handle back on. And then just push the brass pin through. So there it is, there's the completed katana. And I'm quite pleased with that. So thanks for following me on that, and thanks for watching. Go out and try and make something yourself. Thanks.